order the meeting of the Charlestown Board of Public Works. Today is May 6, 2020. We are meeting by Zoom because of the governor's executive order under the current COVID emergency. We have the ability to meet by video conference. I will ask anyone who's not actively speaking to please mute their microphone. It helps decrease the external noise that you might hear and all the extra sounds going on. Morning, David, or he's connecting to audio. There he is. So we're getting started. We'll begin with, I kind of been skipping the formalities with these Zoom meetings, but we'll do a roll call to make sure we've got everyone here. I can see folks, but it's good to hear you. Just say here.
Here, David Reed.
And David Reed is here, and Mayor Treva Hodges. We're also joined by City Attorney Mickey Weber, and Clerk Treasurer Donna Coomer is in the house, along with some supervisors and staff who may be presenting today. So our standing business is first we need to approve the agenda. You've all received a copy of the agenda, and I will entertain a motion to approve that agenda as it was provided to you.
Jim Adams makes a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Motion made by Adams. Is there a second?
David Reed seconds.
Okay. Do you have any discussion or additions to the agenda?
None.
None? Okay. Just do a roll call vote. Just you'll just say your name and yes or no. That would be helpful. Adams?
Adams, yes.
And Reed?
Yes.
Okay. So the agenda is approved unanimously. Have our standing business for the sake of Zoom efficiency. We can combine the prior meetings minutes, the current claims, and the payroll allowance docket into one motion and have discussion independently of those things should you need to. But I'll entertain a motion to approve the prior meetings minutes, the current claims, and the payroll allowance docket as they were provided to you.
David Reed makes that motion.
Motion made by David Reed. Is there a second?
Jim Adams seconds the motion.
Seconded by Jim Adams. Was there any discussion, questions, or corrections to the minutes, the claims, or the payroll allowance docket?
David Reed, no.
Jim Adams, no.
Okay, great. So I'll call for the vote. Just say yes or no when I call your name. Adams?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
And yes for me. So it's all those things are approved unanimously. The minutes, the claims, and the payroll allowance docket. We have one for public comment, either electronically or in person. So we can move that. We have no old business. We do have some new business, however. The first item of new business was a list of sewer charge-offs, and this involves 22 charge-offs for a total of $2,311.94, and every one of these charge-offs was the result of the property being sold. So I'll entertain a motion to approve those charge-offs.
David Reed makes the motion.
Okay, motion made by David Reed. Is there a second?
Jim Adams seconds.
Seconded by Jim Adams. Is there any questions or discussions about those?
No, David Reed.
No, Jim Adams.
All right, call for the vote. David Reed?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a yes for me. So the charge-offs are approved. Next, we're going to turn the microphone over to Heather Shrimp. She's got some information for us on the employee health insurance plan. We're going to need to take some action on her behalf, but I'll let her explain what's going on.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Yes.
We have been with Humana for some time now, but as of this renewal, they proposed a very large increase into our rates. So we have pursued other carriers, and we are looking at adopting a plan from Anthem that is very comparable to what our Humana plan was. It actually has a lower deductible than what our Humana plan did, with the rates that are 21% higher than what our previous rates were. But that is still within our budget. So I would like to propose that the board adopt the new Anthem plans. That will move our medical dental and vision plans to Anthem. The dental and vision plans are not going to change. They are going to be very similar to what we had before. The rates will be very similar, if not exactly the same. But the medical plan will go up 21%.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve this, and then in discussion, if you have any questions, you can ask Heather, but I'll entertain a motion to approve the new insurance plan.
David Reed makes that motion.
Motion made by David Reed. Is there a second?
Jim Adams seconds.
Seconded by Adams. Do you have any questions for Heather? She's worked very hard on this. Her and Larry Lynn have worked very hard to find a comparable plan.
So we're presently with Humana, but we're going to who?
Anthem.
Yes.
Okay.
So even with, I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're asking the same question I was going to ask.
So, okay, I guess David and I were interested. So if you were to stay with Humana, what is the price increase?
55%.
All right, 55%. And by transitioning to Anthem, we're only going to see a 21% increase.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Sounds like good business to me.
After the next order of business is the employee deductions.
Having a little bit of
the employees have not seen.
I fuzz out.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was having trouble with my internet connection.
Okay. The employees have not seen a change in their rates since, I believe, about 2007. We are looking at making changes to those presently because our rates have increased so much over the past few years. Currently, a single person pays $10 a week for their medical. If you have employee and child or employee and spouse, they pay $20 a week. And if you have a family plan, they pay $30 a week. We are proposing what amounts to about a 25% increase. That would move the single plan to $13.50 a week, the employee and child and employee and spouse to $27 a week, and the family plan from $30 to $40 a week, just to help offset some of the costs we are incurring as a result of the rate increase.
And I'd like to go ahead and take that vote, and then we can vote independently to approve the new rates. So the motion that we're voting on right now is to approve the change from Humana to Anthem. We'll do a roll call vote on that plan change. So David Reed?
Yes.
Jim Adams?
Yes.
It's a yes for me. So the plan is approved unanimously. And as Heather just explained, it's been quite a while since the employees themselves have had rate changes, and the insurance costs have gone up every year. Heather, is it about 25% that those have gone up every year on average?
It has varied. I think it's always gone up at least 10%. No, this is the largest year we've had so far where it's gone up. Like I said, Humana proposed 55%. We got it down to just over 21%. But we have seen a steady increase for probably a decade.
And we ourselves, the city hasn't raised the employees' contribution since when?
I think it was 2007.
And why don't we do that on a yearly basis as ours, so it wouldn't be such a shock to each employee? Shouldn't we do that in the future? Or is that a complicated?
It is not, and we have discussed that. Going forward, we are going to try to make that the practice. We haven't done it thus far because we've always managed to keep the rates within the budget, so there wasn't really a need to pass the cost on to the employees. But given what was proposed this year, we are going to start increasing incrementally the employees' rates on a yearly basis.
I think it'd be less of a disturbance to an individual because, I mean, you're quoting rates based on a weekly cost, right?
That is correct.
So if we incrementally did it, then I think the the effect to an employee would be less, detrimental. Or even though it doesn't seem like much, but you said going from $10 to 13 something per week, that times 4, because everybody's budgets are usually around a monthly budget. So it's a monthly increase is the way I look at it personally. I always look at my cost as a monthly increase.
Right.
So anyhow, just a suggestion that I think in the future it should be yearly increments if we're getting incremented by the insurance companies per month.
Yes,
Or
agreed.
per year. Okay.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the new rates.
I'll make a
David
motion
Reed
to
makes that
approve.
motion.
Okay, I got David Reed making the motion. That's who I heard. Is there a second?
Jim Adams seconds.
Okay, any additional discussion on that one? Okay, already talked about it.
David Reed, no.
Jim Adams, no.
The only other thing I need is to make sure that the mayor has the authority to sign any pertinent paperwork that may come up regarding this issue.
Okay, so what we're voting on then is approval of the new rates and authorizing me as mayor to sign the paperwork in order to get these things approved. So we'll call for the vote. David Reed,
Yes.
Jim Adams.
Yes.
Okay, and it's a yes for me. So the rates are approved unanimously with me having permission to sign those documents. Thank you, Heather.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Good job.
Yeah, she really worked hard with
Oh,
Larry
yeah.
on making that work. It was a mess.
Yeah. Working through insurance is always a mess.
It was a mess.
Heather always works hard.
She does. remember,
She does a great job.
remember last time she appeared before the board, she saved us $11,500.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Keep working, Heather.
She's a valuable employee.
The last item of business on our agenda involves the purchase of a lawnmower for the Parks Department to be able to cut the grass at all of our parks and all of our places. So they did get 3 bids. The first bid was from John Deere on Highway 403 Sellersburg, and the balance would have been, the payment was $6,553. The second bid was from Jacoby Sales in Palmyra, and it was a bid of $6,800 for this mower. And this is one of those 0-turn mowers. And then the final bid was from Anderson's Sales and Service in Jeffersontown, Kentucky for $6,323.95. And so I want to make a motion that we accept that lowest bid there of the $6,320.95 for that mower.
David Reed makes that motion.
A motion made by David Reed. Is there a second?
Jim Adams seconds.
Seconded by Jim Adams. Any discussion or questions on that mower?
All the paperwork that we'd seen before when this came about kind of indicated all the mowers were same horsepower, same cut width and such. Is that still the same? I mean, I'm taking that from memory. I don't have those documents in front of me, but
yeah, they did a comparable plan of basically the same kind of mower. They needed a more efficient, smaller 0-turn mower to be able to get into those small pocket parks and get that done. And so they priced out the exact same mower across all their style of mower across all 3 places.
any of those have a warranty with them or a service agreement or anything like that that would offset the difference in cost?
The warranties were all comparable, and so the cost freezing. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
No,
it kind of went.
Okay.
It kind of went ding ding there for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of blocking up. So, but yeah, I asked them, they made sure that they were looking at warranties and everything in with these bids. And so, and then actually has a rebate. So the Anderson's bid actually had a $600 rebate on top of everything else. So that's what brought it down into the lowest bid. So I'll entertain a motion, or I got the motion, whatever. Any other discussion?
Is this
None for me.
One question? Was this a planned purchase or in the budget already, or something that had to be subsequently purchased without being budgeted?
No, we had the money in the budget for this. They've been watching their equipment for a while, and unfortunately, and Lee's on here. He'll nod his head heavily when I say this. Unfortunately, we're at a point with all of our departments where we're having some very significant equipment malfunctions and some very significant needs of replacement. And guys, this goes of these cars, but this is sanitation. We have garbage truck, and I can't tell you we got to get this stuff dealt with, and this is just one of those things. Unfortunately for us, this is one of the easier things to replace because we actually did already have it in the budget ready to go. And so I told the guys to, we needed to take action for that. Helps them to be more efficient in doing their job, to actually have equipment that works well.
What about
we all know we have a lot of grass to cut in the city.
We do.
What about transportation of the mower? Do they need an oversized trailer, or does it fit on the one they have now?
It's not a problem. They've already arranged it, so it
Okay.
won't be a problem.
All right.
All right, I'll call for the vote on approving the Anderson Sales and Service purchase of the mower for $6,323.95. David Reed,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
and it's a yes for me. So the motion is approved unanimously to purchase this mower. So thank you, guys. Just a couple of updates for me. That concludes the actual business on new business, but just a couple of updates for me about our resource situation. We feel like we've got the police department in pretty good shape with their cars, if the plant would ever start building them. We're happy about that. But I've had each of the departments to really start to look at their equipment and give me ideas of things. And the next thing coming down the pipeline for you guys is that we're going to have to talk about a new garbage truck. We've gotten some rough estimates right now of where that's going to run us. We've got Baker Tilly doing the rate study for the sanitation department to see how that's going to go. And the next thing I want us to look at that I haven't gotten the numbers for you, but I will have next time, is how much we've been spending on repairs for the truck that we need to replace. And so just want to put that on your radar that we're talking about this department wide. Our computers are old, our trash trucks are old, our wastewater plant needs help. We're at a resource time where we want to get these things taken care of. It also means that I'm looking forward to putting them on replacement plans, just like we did with the police department, where somebody, 10 years down the road, we're not kicking this can that far, that every year we have a reasonable replacement plan in place so that as these things wear out, we can actually have it built into the budget easily to replace them. So working on looking at those things. The second thing I wanted to tell you, of course, I announced the phase reopening plan for the city facilities. We're still technically in phase 0. I'm watching the percentage of positives of the COVID cases here locally and what they do before we decide to move into phase 1, which will be a slight reopening of some of our facilities. The question that that's always hard is, what do you do with the larger things that you planned on doing? And in conversation with other mayors across the state and with local folks here and the health department, governor's reopening plan on the 14th of June, we just wouldn't be in a place where we could do that on the 19th. The last announcement I have is that Indiana American Water, this is more of a city announcement, Indiana American Water is having to do an emergency repair tomorrow on the 200 block of Main Cross. So this is the block where Copper Kettle, Tees and Tangles, Grayson's Funeral Home, this is that block of Main Cross. Basically, those old hydrants that where they installed new hydrants down through there, they need to pull those old hydrants. So they're going to be pulling a couple of old hydrants and replacing some valves. They did not, we had a conversation about this, and I said, you absolutely cannot do this. And Indiana American Water was like, absolutely, you cannot do this on Monday because we've got a hair salon down there on that block that's opening on Monday, and they've been closed for a long time. Tell that hair salon she's not going to have water on Monday. That's not going to fly. So we, and Copper Kettle, I think, is reopening as well. So they're going to go ahead and do an emergency replacement tomorrow of those lines and valves. So the water will be off, and I'm working to get an idea of how long the water is going to be off there tomorrow. We'll make sure we make a public post on our social media about that. But the folks in that area might experience some brown water when they pull those hydrants, just the natural part of replacing that. So we wanted to make sure that they knew that that was going on. And again, we'll have an announcement up on our social media with a little more details about that so folks can see it. And they're working, IEW is contacting the businesses and people. They've already contacted Grayson's so that they can let them know in advance this is going to happen. So I want to put that out there that they can expect that, but we're going to get it done before Monday so that they can get back to work. From you guys. Not hearing any. I don't know if it's because my internet's messed up or you just don't have any
Mayor
questions.
Shreve, I have a question. I have a quick question.
Okay. All right.
Regarding, do you envision any financial difficulties with this pandemic, directly impacting cities, city government, city businesses, or city business?
I do. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I addressed that in the council meeting Monday night, but it's certainly something worth mentioning here as well. We're just like every other business and every other household. We're going to be hit by this too with a reduction in tax revenue. So our very rough estimates, and again, these are rough estimates, our very rough estimates anticipate only about a 30% collection of property taxes for next month for our disbursement. So that's a 70% reduction. Paying a 50 or 60% reduction in our motor vehicle highway revenue, the taxes. I mean, everybody's enjoying the gas being really low, but unfortunately that means that we're not making the tax revenue that we would expect to make. So we're looking at a possible $1.5 million shortfall here with our disbursements right away in June. I'm taking every step possible to help mitigate that on our end. So it's good. It's kind of good because when I came in since January, we've been looking very cautiously at the budget anyway. So there are things that have happened along the way, and I've had wonderful help from the departments. All the supervisors are being extremely conservative about their spending. You got people like Heather in the clerk's office who are finding ways to save us money. 11,000 here, 7,000 there. It adds up. Our payroll, I've been watching very carefully the hiring and what we have and what we need. We've decreased some of the positions on the administrative side of things, and we're saving. In the first quarter, we've saved $46,000 in salary and gross salary just in the first quarter compared to first quarter last year. So we are being extremely conservative in that, anticipating this shortfall. We will know more in June, and so in the June, as we get more information, I'll keep you informed.
Good.
Perfect. Thanks for the update.
Keep working hard on saving the city some money.
Exactly. That's the goal. It's going to hurt. There are some things that we want to do. So for instance, the Civic Center assessment that we wanted to do that this board approved, and the ball fields and stuff, we're not saying not ever. We've put those on hold. And I've contacted the folks that had received, the approval for those contracts, and I've explained, and they understand. HWC gets it, so they're not bitter about anything.
How long can they be on hold? Did they say?
Not actually, even they had approved some contracts, they had not been signed. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
Motion made by Jim Adams, seconded by David Reed. All in favor, just say aye all at once or wave at the computer.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimously approved. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you around.
All right.
Mr.
Thank you. All right, you too.